All right, it is Megan Peters here with Comicbook.com, here to talk about all things San Diego Comic-Con because that time is here. Albeit it looks a little bit different. We are at our homes. This is Comic-Con at home. So we are here with Chris Sabat. He is the voice actor extraordinaire of many shows such as Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, One Piece. The list goes on and on. So we are very privileged to get to speak with you today. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm good. Knowing that this is supposed to be kind of a San Diego Comic-Con thing, I've really been trying to kind of simulate that experience at home by just basically turning off my air conditioning system and walking around outside a lot, getting super sweaty, and then pretending to get lost and not be able to get from place to place very quickly. So I'm handling it well. The problem is there's just no crowds to get lost in right now. So I had to just pretend that I was pushing my way through trying to get from one side to the other.
Yes, no, I understand that.
I'll tell you, I have done my fair share of complaining about how annoying some of the big busy cons can be, but boy, do I miss them now. I feel so bad for anything I ever said about man, it's too hard to get around these places because gosh, I wish we were just there. That's where I want to be right now.
Well, so that's my first question is obviously you're so connected into the anime fandom, and that community is one that is, very centralized around conventions. I mean, comics, yeah, that's great, but their anime conventions and manga conventions have just been, booming in the last decade or two. How have you been staying plugged in with the anime fandom during this time when everyone has to be social distancing?
It's been tricky, and it's been terrible. Actually, you basically they've cut off one of the major arteries that we have to even communicate with our fan base. So, and I've never been really the best at social media or anything like that too. But there have been these things that have been popping up that are allowing us to do virtual convention, virtual autograph signings and stuff. Mm-hmm. And at first, it felt, I'll be honest, I was a little apprehensive to do it because it's just something I hadn't done before. And I'm still getting used to it because when you're doing a panel with 4 other people and there's no audience to react to what you're saying, you just feel like you're never funny. So that's one of the hard things to get used to. But I have been kind of engaging more in social media. I did my first ever kind of live stream on Instagram. I had a bunch of homework to do. Something I like to do at cons. Something I like to do at cons for people is if they bring me a Goku pop, mm-hmm. I will destroy it. I'll make a mess of it. I'll draw all over it, or I'll draw it pretending as if Vegeta was drawing on it. Mm-hmm. Well, I jokingly asked people if anyone wants one, and a bunch of people ordered them through this company called Zobi. And they came over to my house and dropped 50 of these things in a bucket on my front porch and said, "Good luck, man." And so I thought, I don't want to just sit here and do this in a vacuum. All by myself. So I found a way to kind of live stream on Instagram, and I had something, camera pointing to the pops and camera pointing to me. And it was actually really fun. I think it made me feel a lot less lonely, and I think it helped other people too. So.
Yes, well, anytime to see Vegeta deface Goku is, pretty much perfect. And that segues really great because obviously I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I always got to talk to you about Dragon Ball when I get the opportunity. So, within the past year, the anime has been, on a quieter note, but the manga has been exploding in popularity. And I know I've spoken with you about the manga before, and I've seen you tweet a couple things in reference to, certain events in the manga. So First, I just kind of want to ask how up to date are you with what's happening right now in the manga? Today we got a brand new chapter, and it's been trending on Twitter all day. So you love to see it.
It's so bizarre to see that happen because I wasn't used to people really gravitating towards the manga. I know a lot of people read it, but not read it enough to where it would trend heavily on Twitter. And so it was bizarre. I wake up one morning and go, why is Vegeta trending today? I have not caught up on the current manga until I saw Vegeta trending, and I had to catch up really quickly to find out what had happened to him. Yeah. And of course, without any spoilers, exactly what you expect to happen to Vegeta happens to Vegeta, because Vegeta always gets treated a certain way by the author of this manga. And I won't give you any more spoilers than that, but it's, yeah, it was pretty sad. I noticed Moro, one of the main villains, was trending literally I think it was just yesterday, because some epic things were happening in the manga. Other things you might also expect. And I saw some really funny Gohan memes today. And that's not a spoiler at all, but there are some people who are like joking about how Gohan's going to come in and save the day. And then that makes people want to punch other people. So there's this mixture between people who want Gohan to succeed. And then there's other people who are just like, look, he got left behind a long time ago. Like, let Goku and Vegeta do this.
Yeah, I'm still very pro Gohan, pro Goten. So
you're pro Han?
Yeah, pro everything of any Saiyan, basically, is my response to any haters. But knowing that, you've seen a couple things about the manga, things that you would expect. How badly are you wanting this manga arc to get adapted into an anime? Because dude, I pray every night for it, basically, at this point.
I think it blows my mind. So here's the honest truth. Like, they don't tell me anything, and it's probably for their safety and my safety, because I think they're even worried, like, if somebody asked me, like, hey, they're going to be doing some more super, come on, they're going to be doing more super. Like, I would be worried that the look on my face would indicate like yes or no. So I can honestly just look at people and say, I have no clue, but I have no clue why they wouldn't. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's so rare to be getting more content from Akira Toriyama these days that it would literally be the biggest shame on earth for them not to be animating more of this. Now, who knows? I honestly don't know how the coronavirus has affected kind of production in some of these areas. Hell, you might know better than I would, but like, it's kind of put a wrench in a lot of things. So I have no idea what the future of the Dragon Ball license is. And I know that Dragon Ball was supposed to be kind of a big deal for the 2020 Olympics as well. And since that's kind of like not really happening in any sort of way, then that's kind of messed up some of those plans too. Everyone's having to change gears right now. So
well, fingers crossed for 2021.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
this
totally.
year has been this year, so maybe 2021 will redeem things with Dragon Ball.
We need it. We need it. I'm hoping, like, my fingers are crossed for 2021, although it would be such a gift for them to just drop this in our laps this year. Oh my God, I would freak out, but I don't know.
So much. So kind of shifting gears to another anime, which I talked to you a lot about. It is My Hero Academia, which it's a show that can't be stopped, basically. I just kind of wanted to ask you, in the wake of season 4, what we've seen with All Might and the epic cliffhanger that we got with Endeavor. This show is getting way darker than we could have ever anticipated when we first met All Might in season 1. And so I wanted to ask, how are you now coming into the role of All Might and approaching this character in light of all of these really serious things that are starting to happen to Class 1A?
Well, luckily for me, All Might has kind of 2 personalities. He has 2 voices. There's the buffed up, huge, larger than life version of All Might, and there's also the injured kind of no power Might. And what's beautiful about the fact that I don't really have to do the powered up All Might voice as much anymore is that the kind of Weekend All Might voice is very close to my own voice. And that allows me to be able to really approach the character with a lot more sincerity than I can with a super big hero voice trying to say something sincere. So I'm able to kind of approach him the way I would want to approach it as an actor and as a person. Also, My Hero Academia is one of those shows where it's not that hard to kind of get into character and to the spirit and the emotion of the show, because it's such a gorgeous, beautiful, well-written show that every time I'm in the booth, I'm excited to see what's going to happen to my character. We were talking about the manga earlier. I cannot read the My Hero Academia manga. I did for a very long time, but now I am so terrified that one day I'm going to open it up and I'm just going to flip to a page and it's going to have All Might's dead body, and I won't be able to handle that sort of pain. Knowing that in advance, I'm asking people, if you find this out, don't tell me. I even tried to bribe the creator of the show not to kill All Might. And he said he couldn't take that bet. I did. I followed him outside. I'm like, I'll give you $50 not to kill All Might. He goes, oh, I can't take money. So, yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Like the show is getting very serious, but it's what I love about the show. The show is breaking every single rule of the shonen kind of style manga, and it's just something beautiful about it. And I just kind of throw myself into every single episode and try not to cry, because it happens a lot.
Yes, that is how I guess we are all feeling right now. And so to kind of wrap up this conversation, we're here talking about Comic-Con. This is such a spirit of celebration for all things nerdy and geekdom for this community that both me and you are so involved in. I mean, we're not even going to let a pandemic stop us this time or any time coming soon. So I just kind of want to ask you, like, what projects do you have going on right now that are kind of keeping you, keeping you busy, keeping you excited for what's coming up, post-COVID? And is there anything you can tease us about things that we know are coming up, like the One Piece dub that we're getting new episodes, which is so nice.
Yes, I wish I had more information on some of that for you, because I don't know exactly how the pandemic has affected some of Funimation's dubbing. I don't work in-house for them, so I don't know all of those details. But for me, I've been really focusing on, honestly, I've been kind of focusing on my family during this pandemic, because I think about how exciting it would be at conventions right now. But I also think about how during this time of the year, that's the time of the year where I'm having to look at my wife and kids and go like, guys, I'm going to be home like 9 days this month. And so I've really been cherishing this time I have around the family. But in the meantime, I have had a lot more time on my hands. So I've been experimenting with like photography a little bit. I've been experimenting with videography. Actually, with all of these like Zoom calls, I've become obsessed with like, how do I find better cameras or better lighting and stuff like that. And there's one thing I want to tease right now, and I wish if I didn't think to actually message them before this happened, but there's about to be an announcement of a project that I worked on that is probably the most amazing, beautiful, sweet things I've ever worked on. A bunch of us got together with a group, and we're releasing this kind of unofficial We Are the World style song. But unlike other versions of this you might have heard throughout this pandemic and through other things, this is probably the most gorgeous thing I've ever heard. And all I know is that you should start looking around on social media for it soon, like follow me or follow other people who are into it, because I think we're about to start promoting it. It's a charity thing, and it is going to literally blow your mind. I heard it and like wept openly. It has so many of the cast members singing on it. It has Japanese cast members. They've done it for other properties before. They did one benefiting, I think it was also UNICEF, but they did it with Cowboy Bebop, and it was very successful. And it's just such a fun thing to be a part of.